Coming to you live from the middle of nowhere, this is the Wingin It Podcast, a podcast with no specific genre. If you enjoy the podcast, make sure you hit the follow button on the Facebook page and search up our other socials. Just search for the Wingin It Podcast. We want to thank our sponsor, Esports Certified. To enjoy 10% off, go to their store and click the link below. Enjoy. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Wingin It Podcast. We are up to episode number 11. I didn't actually think it would ever get this far, to be honest. I thought a couple episodes and then it would slowly fizzle out into nothingness. But here we are, episode 11. We are still growing very constantly. I can't thank you guys enough for supporting the podcast as much as you have. We've received an overwhelming amount of support over the last couple, and hopefully it keeps on growing. In the intro, you saw about our sponsor, Esports Certified. You can check them out down here. There'll be a link in the description. You'll get 10% off their store, and that will go directly to the podcast to support us. Now, this is the last chance you guys have to enter the giveaway. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is be following the podcast on the Facebook page. Just all you have to do is search up the Wingin It Podcast on the page, or if you are watching this on Facebook, scroll up to the top. There'll be a follow button. Click that, and you will be automatically entered into the giveaway. If you don't know already, it is a year subscription to a streaming service of your choice. Anything from Netflix, KO, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Stan, all of that good stuff. If you are the lucky winner, you'll have a choice of a year's subscription to any of those providers. If you already have all of them, then you will get the monetary amount for the one that you choose. So today's episode is something that has been in the news a lot over the last couple of months. If you haven't seen it, I dare say you've been living under a rock. The Russian and Ukraine conflict. Now, there's a reason I didn't start talking about this when it all started, because I wanted to let it go and just see what was going to happen between the two countries, and it has grown to be quite a controversial conflict between those two. As you guys know, if you've been watching a little bit about it, or if you don't know about it, Russia has been invading Ukraine, trying to take them over, much to the world's disgust on Putin, and as well as all the NATOs that have been created with Ukraine. It seems to be that Putin has his own ideas, and a lot of people that have been sort of posting about it, and a lot of news reporters and blogs and things like that have been saying that Putin wants to create the former USSR from World War II, which of course Ukraine was a part of. So quite interesting to see what's happening with that. It is quite scary, I guess you could say, because the whole conflict, both countries have been sending press releases out and things like that, saying that if any of the rest of the world gets involved through allies and things like that, then there will be dire consequences for said countries, which in a nutshell pretty well means if anyone intervenes, it'll be World War III. So not something that is a good idea, of course, but I can imagine all of the country leaders and things like that itching to try and help, but at what cost? You know, if I was a country leader, then I can understand why we're just hanging back and letting those two fight it out, because of course World War III is not what we need right now. But in saying that, the conflict has caused a lot of I won't say problems, but I'll say disruptions to the rest of the world. As you know, fuel prices and oil prices have gone through the roof, that being the cause of this invasion, because Ukraine is one of the world leaders in oil production. So, of course, if you don't have oil, you can't have fuel, and that is why there's a giant demand and not very big supply. And I dare say that is why fuel prices are going through the roof, because Ukraine is not exporting as much oil as what it was. And, of course, if Russia takes over, who knows whether they'll actually export it or not. They might keep it all to themselves, or whatever might happen there. It'll be interesting to see what happens in future. I've been keeping a little bit up to date about the conflict. I'm not completely up to date and don't know the ins and outs and all of the information, but from what I've seen, Russia is trying to make a push into eastern Ukraine and a little bit of the north and south as well. So pretty well, Russia's trying to push in to Ukraine and take them over. From what I've read and what I've seen and all the rest of it, the Ukraine are doing pretty well to defend themselves. But as we know, Russia's military is quite powerful, arguably one of the most powerful in the world. So Ukraine are doing very well to stand where they are standing, and it'll be interesting to see what happens, whether Ukraine can actually defend themselves, and even to the point where if they can't defend themselves, will that then spark the Ukraine to ask for help from allies, causing a giant shit fight between a lot of countries. It's quite a sad thing to see that Russia has actually gone about it this way. I don't know what sort of led to Russia trying to invade. I don't know whether there was a bit of a bitch fight between the two countries leading up to it, and then something has triggered Russia or Putin to try and take over. I'm not sure about that. I haven't read enough to make that call, but I think it sort of shocked everyone that all of a sudden Russia decided to try and take over Ukraine, and also the fact that they've said no other country should intervene because there will be consequences for them as well. It'll be if Russia do actually take Ukraine, I'm not sure what's gonna happen there. Like, once they take Ukraine, is it all business as usual, or are they gonna try and keep pushing forward and move into other countries as well? I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Let me know in the comments down below, or send me a message to the Wingin It Facebook page, and let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. Heart goes out to those people that are over there. There's been a lot of news stories about people fleeing the country, fleeing the border. I hope you guys are all safe and in good hands. Videos have emerged on the internet about missiles being fired over and things like that. So unfortunate, the people that have passed away because of said attacks. It's not the best thing to happen, especially given what's going on with the rest of the world with the COVID-19 pandemic. It's another spanner in the works, so to speak. The world is already under enough pressure from the COVID pandemic, let alone this conflict between those two countries. So it's kind of a shit time at the moment. Hopefully things will get better as time goes on. I'm not sure what's going to happen, whether Ukraine will be able to push them back. We'll see what happens. We'll just have to monitor it, and hopefully things will settle down, or Putin will pull back, or whatever happens. It's affected the whole world, as you know, with oil prices and things like that, but not only oil prices, but with minerals as well, because Ukraine is quite a large producer of diamond, uranium and iron as well. I'm pretty sure iron. Definitely uranium and diamonds as well, so affected the whole world with their trade links and things like that. Minerals and their availability have been affected, but we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I still can't understand why in this day and age they're looking to invade another country, given the amount of technology that has come about. I know that there's a global treaty around like nuclear weapons and things like that, but what's stopping a country like Russia? Like, they can level whole cities with one nuclear bomb. Like, it's quite a scary thing to sort of think about. I'm not sure what the consequences are of breaking that global treaty. It's not like you can just kick them out, because they're still obviously here on Earth. Like, you can't just kick them off. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that situation. I mean, obviously, nuclear weapons are frowned upon in war. It's quite a strong subject to talk about when you're talking about leveling cities and things like that. That's when things are getting out of hand, I believe. There has been talk in the last couple of years about a lot of conspiracy theorists and things like that talking that the next world war will be a nuclear war. That I 100% believe, given the technology that we have, and especially the range of ballistic missiles and nuclear missiles and things like that. Like, you can, like, the technology that has advanced over the last 5 or 10 years, we can fire a nuke halfway across the globe and hit a target within a couple of 100 meters. That's the amount of precision that these deadly weapons have, and that's scary, because it doesn't take much to build a nuke. Like, when you think about it, if they can do it quite easily in the 90s and 80s through like ballistic testing in what the USA did in the Nevada desert and things like that, and even earlier after World War II, they was testing nuclear devices in the Nevada desert and things like that. Like, the amount of, if they can do it so easily and quite quickly back then, like, they can put nukes on a production line now and just start flipping them out like cars. Quite a scary thing to have floating around in the space. I think the whole world is kind of hanging out to see what sort of repercussions is going to come about. I personally don't think that nuclear weapons are a good idea in general, let alone in this conflict that's happening now, or any conflict, to be honest. Like, the amount of repercussions with nuclear weapons, like with nuclear fallout and radiation and things like that. Like, if Russia decide to drop a nuke on one of Ukraine's capital cities, I don't know what the capital city is, but say they drop a nuke on the capital city, the amount of fallout that will be left in that area for 10, 15, 20 years, even if we're back at world peace within 12 months, that whole area is going to be radiated and contaminated, and it can't sustain life for many years to come. So it's not only the problems now that you're facing with sending nukes and leveling cities and winning wars and whatever, it's the aftermath of radiation and fallout and things like that. So I think nukes are, I wouldn't even call them a last resort. I don't think that we should even look towards them. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a world leader. I can't make that decision. I think a lot of people would think the same way that I do. I wouldn't like to see that happen. We don't want to see another Hiroshima incident in 2022. We saw the devastation that did, and the amount it took to rebuild, the amount of lives lost, and things like that. I don't think we want to get back into that spiral of nuclear weapons. But yeah, we'll just have to watch this space, see what happens with the two countries. Who wants to pull the trigger first? I honestly don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. It's quite a rough subject to sort of think about. Like, it's real now. Like, we've talked about it for years in school, and even when I was back in school, we talked about, when will the next World War III be? Who will it be with and against, and all the rest of it, and what weapons will be used? It's not going to be people in trenches anymore. It's the amount, like the technology that is advanced. It's now real. Things are dangerous. We have weapons that can cause mass destruction, and we don't even have to see the enemy to fire upon them. So it's quite unnerving to see what's happening, but we just have to work through it, try and stay together as countries, whether you're allied to Russia or allied to Ukraine. We just have to let it be, let them sort it out, and hopefully it'll go back to the peace that was, or world peace that was that was here before. So we'll see what happens, let them fight it out. I'm not sure who's going to win. I don't think it bothers me who wins, to be honest. If Russia do take over Ukraine, I'm not sure what their next step will be. Until it's like I have a very not an unbiased but a biased sort of opinion on that subject. Like, if it's not affecting me in Australia at the moment, so I'm not too worried about it, as much as, you know, things have potential to develop into worse and conflicts arise with other countries. Until it starts affecting me here, then I'm not too worried about it. It's concerning, yes, don't get me wrong, I am concerned about it, but I think until it's affecting us and we start sending troops, or until Russia turns up on our doorstep, I think that it shouldn't. I think it should be okay. The more I think about it, I think it should be okay. I dare say Russia will, if they do take Ukraine, they should stop there. But then again, it's one of those things where you don't know until it happens. So we'll have to see what happens in that sort of whole area. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I forgot to mention at the start of the podcast too, guys, this is only going to be a short one. I just wanted to talk about this subject and get it off my chest. It's only going to be a real short episode. I do apologise for that, but it's quite hard to talk about something when there's still news and information being released every hour, really. I can only go off what information I have now. So yeah, we'll work with what we got, talk about what we can, but if you guys have any more information or any opinion on the subject, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, we'll talk through that. I can do a part 2 on this subject in the next episode, or in a couple episodes time, once the whole conflict sort of matures a bit more. But for now, I think that's what we're rolling with. We'll have to just go with it, and we'll just have to monitor the situation and see what happens. Also, if you guys want to hear me talk about a certain subject, I'm open to ideas. You guys can let me know in the comments down below, or send the Facebook page a message. I'll be sure to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm here for you guys. I want to entertain you guys as much as possible. So with that, I might have to cut this off short. I do apologise. There will be another episode coming very soon. I know it's been quite a while since the last one, but we'll have to see. As I said, I'm quite interested in doing a part 2 of this conflict with Ukraine and Russia. We'll just have to wait until information gets released, things happen, and I can post short videos on the Facebook page about any information that I see, or I can compile it all into a whole podcast. Furthermore, I am finally looking at getting established with my podcast on an actual provider, so which means all of my podcasts will be available on Spotify, so you can listen to it wherever you are, in the car, going for a walk or a run, or on your bike, whatever you may desire. So stay tuned for that. I will leave a post on the Facebook page to let you guys know what's going on with that, what the links will be, where it'll be, things like that. So if you want to get updated with that, make sure you leave a follow on the Facebook page, And also, again, to be eligible for that giveaway, this is your last chance to enter into that giveaway. The winner will be drawn at the start of the next podcast. So make sure you're following the Facebook page for that to be automatically entered into the giveaway. I want to thank you guys so much for listening again. Again, I do apologise that it is quite short, but there's quite a lot going on at the moment. And I'm happy that I'm at least able to get something out to you guys since it has been a while. Alright guys, make sure you guys have a good day. Make sure to leave a follow on the Facebook page. I will see you guys in the next one. Leave a comment down below about anything you want me to talk about, or if you have any more information on the conflict. Alright guys, I hope you have a good day. I'll see you in the next one.